Please don't take our food. We saved all day for this, said the little boy to the lonely rancher. The desert wind carried a kind of silence that only wide-open places know, heavy, honest, impossible to ignore. It swept across the dry fields of Clay Canyon Ranch, rattling an old wooden sign and echoing through the broken boards of the horse stable. Inside the ranch house, Thomas Avery sat alone at his kitchen table, staring at the last can of beans in his cupboard. It was all he had left. No cattle, no savings, no family left to call. For years he had lived with the quiet ache of loss, and though no one said it out loud, everyone in the nearby town knew, Thomas Avery was a man forgotten by time. Just as he reached for the can opener, a soft knock tapped against his front door. He froze. Visitors were rarer than rain in July. When he opened the door, he found a boy, a small thing no older than 8. Standing barefoot in the dirt, his shirt clinging to him from heat and dust. Behind him stood a girl, maybe 10, holding a cloth bundle tied shut with twine. The boy looked up with frightened eyes, his voice trembling as he spoke. Please don't take our food, we saved all day for this. Thomas blinked, confused. Son, I'm not sure what you mean. The girl stepped forward, chin lifted with the kind of bravery children take on when they're all each other has. Our grandma sent us to bring this to you, she said, thrusting the small bundle toward him. She said you probably haven't eaten today. Thomas stared at the bundle. Inside was a single cornbread square, cracked, a little burnt, barely enough to fill one hand. Their lunch, maybe even their dinner. And yet here they were, offering it to him. He swallowed hard. Your grandma sent you alone? The boy nodded. She said you were sad. And when people are sad, they shouldn't be alone. The rancher felt the weight of those words settle deep into him. These kids barely had enough for themselves, but they had come all this way, across scorching dirt roads, under a sun that never knew mercy, to bring a man they hardly knew a piece of their day's hope. Come inside, Thomas said softly. Both of you. The children hesitated, sharing a glance. Then the little boy whispered to his sister, maybe he's not dangerous. He's too sad to be dangerous. Thomas heard him, and something inside his chest cracked open. He invited them to sit at his table, the one that had been empty for far too long. As the boy swung his legs, he noticed the can of beans. You were about to eat that, he asked. It's all I've got, Thomas admitted. The girl frowned. Why don't you have more food? You have a whole ranch. Thomas sighed. A ranch doesn't mean much when drought takes your cattle, when debt takes what's left, and when time, he paused. When time takes everyone else. The children grew quiet. The house seemed to breathe around them. Then, unexpectedly, the little boy pushed the cornbread toward him. Then you should have it. Thomas shook his head. No, that's yours. Your grandma wanted you to eat that yourselves. But you're hungry, the boy insisted. And grandma says helping people is how we show God we're thankful. Even when it's hard. Thomas wasn't a man who cried. He couldn't remember the last time he had. But in that moment, tears rose in his eyes, not from pity, but from a feeling he'd nearly forgotten. Worth. The sense that he still meant something in this world. He cleared his throat, trying to steady himself. Wait here. He disappeared into his pantry and came back with the can of beans. He placed it on the table, grabbed an old pot, and lit his stove. We're sharing, he declared. Half the beans for you two, half the cornbread for me. That seems fair, doesn't it? The children grinned, and soon the house filled with the warm smell of simmering beans, a smell Thomas associated with better years, family dinners, and laughter that reached every corner of the home. They ate together quietly at first. Then the children told stories. About their grandmother's stubborn hens, about the stray dog that followed them everywhere, about their dream of saving enough money to buy a bicycle so they could deliver eggs to town faster. With each laugh, each shared moment, the ranch felt less like a tomb of memories and more like a place where life might return. When the meal was done, the girl stood and wrapped the pot with a cloth. Grandma says that when someone shares with you, you share back. We'll bring you supper tomorrow. You don't have to do that, Thomas whispered. But we want to, the boy said. No one should eat alone. As they ran back down the dusty trail, Thomas leaned against his doorway, watching them shrink into the horizon. And for the first time in years, he felt the stirrings of something he thought he'd lost forever. Hope. The next day, the children came back. And the next. And slowly, the rancher's heart, like his ranch, began to grow again. Sometimes, Thomas realized, the smallest acts of kindness come from the smallest hands. And yet they hold the power to change the course of a life.